Kisumu we have useleb.
Okay, useleb achana sana useleb. Achana na useleb. Useleb kunayo. But we have people who need to be celebrated.
There's a general mentality that is there in Kisumu that people, like, I don't know why people feel Kisumu ni ushago ingine fulani, like as if people are backwards, whereas we're not.
When I look into your eyes, ooh, baby, you make me see the stars. Wanna make you be my wife, even if it means I die. Na nitazidi kukupenda, nitazidi kukuwaza, every day, every night of my life.
In Kenya, pali iko na vibe ni Kisumu.
True. Very true.
Watu wamechoka na Nairobi.
Then you wonder what's the problem. It's because we have no
and
proper
even pay
system.
their ticket to Kisumu.
Pay their ticket, pay for their accommodation. Me by the way, since we're on this topic, wacha nifungue roho.
Fungua. Hello world, welcome to a new episode of the Ideal Corner podcast. So it has taken us close to a year to restructure, but now we are back. Like a phoenix, we've risen from the ashes. On the same day that Jesus ascended to heaven, we are back. So without much ado, we are here with a new host. You people said that you wanted a lady voice. And we have a voice that's familiar on your airwaves, a seasoned media personality, Lady Hawi. How is it to being on that side of the seat?
It feels amazing being on this side of the seat.
Yeah.
You mentioned a lady voice. I don't know what you mean by that.
It's a lady voice.
My octaves are a little bit deeper for... No, there's no confusion there.
No,
I'm a lady.
I just needed to get things straight.
No, I am
no
a lady.
pun intended. Anyway, let's give you your welcome to the pod.
Thank you.
So today we have a guest, Ty.
Yo, what's up?
How's your life, man?
Ukisema ya Kenya, ukisema personal, but life is just it's flowing. That's what I can say.
Kwani Kenya na personal ziko tofauti?
Saizi lazima uongelee country kwanza because right now we are really going through it as Kenyans, I feel so.
Yeah.
So it's affecting me in a good and a bad way at the same time. So I can just say it's flowing.
So for those people who don't know Ty, Ty is a creative in Kisumu.
Yeah.
The founder of Kisumu Culture.
Yeah.
So tell us, basically what we want to understand, how's your creative journey been like in Kisumu?
Oh, where do I start? Like, I feel like a creative's journey, it starts even ukizaliwa tu immediately. Like, I don't know. They're just things that build you up to becoming a creative. So
That's true, yeah.
I feel like my entire life has been preparing me for being where I am today because a lot of choices that I made ndio zimenifikisha hapa. So what I do is digital creation.
Yeah.
And right now I'm niching down to videography where I get to share my work. And I have this community called Kisumu Culture.
Yeah.
I mostly work with models, but it's also a marketing agency. So it's a lot of work being put to it. And I think as we are engaging more, I'll get to open up on...
Wait. One thing I need to know. By models, do you mean gents and ladies?
I knew.
No. I just had to ask, man.
Nilijua tu, ulisikia tu models ukasema.
It's for the viewers.
Yeah.
See me nauliza. Does it mean both gents and ladies or ladies alone?
So according to my brand, I wanted to niche down to something that I'm familiar with. When I got into the, let's say, the entertainment industry,
Yeah.
I explored the photography section. And nikifanyio photography line of work,
Yeah.
a lot of people were like, hey, you can also take good behind the scene videos. You are also giving me poses. And that's how I developed that video.
You are giving poses?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mi nimeanza like with creativity nimeanza the lowest points. Manze mi kuna vitu yenye nimefanya like to be where I am today, like I had to sacrifice a lot because you know it's a learning process. Awezi sema ati now you know everything. plus life is all about learning as you're going through it.
Yeah, that's true. So let me ask this: how was your childhood like? Because, for example, mine, if I could narrow down my life into a movie, I would say mine is a comedy. I was that cheeky kid.
Yeah.
And that's what has actually led me to where we are today. So how was yours like?
I feel like it's pretty much comic, as you have said.
Yeah.
For a creative is always comic at some point because kuna zile vitu yenyewe unajiulizanga hii pia nilifanya. Wow, okay, but anyways, I'm here today.
Yeah.
So it wasn't easy, but it was also easy. I don't know if that makes sense because my parents really supported me.
Oh,
like
nice.
Mimi wazazi wangu niliwaambia like I'm a musician, wase mi nataka kuimba. My dad being a policeman, my mom being a businesswoman, they were just like, okay, we're going to support our child. They just needed to be sure, like, as in, is that really what you want? Because at the end of the day, it has to come from you. So in that point, it was easy. But the point that it wasn't easy was trying to make it now something that earns me revenue. Because, now, apart from just the entertainment and all that, does it really make something?
Money.
If you're choosing it, wazazi pia lazima wajue, are you going to be coming with something? It's just social media.
All the time, we'll have to be sending you something for you to continue.
Nimbuambu social media.
Social media manze, lakini hakuna kakitu. So, you have to put in so much work for you to start even earning. Ndio maana I had to start with the lowest, like, kutengeneza lights kwa studio. Kupeana poses before I even got to the camera work. Like there was a lot that I had to go through. Being a musician, manze unaenda studio, you record all the songs, then producer anakuambia mse, hiyo ngoma yako ni kama stima ilienda nayo.
Wait, you're also a musician?
Yeah. That's my first love. Like literally, that's the first thing I did.
Do you play any instruments or?
I play the guitar, but I'm not so perfect at it. But I'm learning. I'm definitely getting there.
Yeah, Hawi, what did you have to ask here?
I wanted to ask, you mentioned music. So you getting into the creative space, your first avenue was through music.
Definitely.
What inspired that? Were you always a lover of music, or there's something that happened or something you saw that made you feel like this is where I want to be?
It started from church. Funny enough.
That's
why I say
it always starts from church.
That's why you told it starts.
It always starts from
It's
church.
always a church thing,
It started from church because unajua mimi natoka from that religious family. My mom is very religious. Like, shout out to her because I feel like religion played a very big part in my life to where I am today. Yeah. The spiritual guidance ilikuwa tu very firm. And ilianzia pale church na ndio watu wakadiscover this guy has kuna voice. So there was a point pia.
Was this in Kisumu or?
This was partly in Kisumu and in Nairobi because most of my life education wise nimesomea boarding. So najua like in boarding lazima utenda to church anyways because it's part of the program.
No, I understand why your parents supported you. What were boarding?
First the boarding idea was my idea. Nilikuwa naona bro wangu akipewa my big bro akipewa pocket money na kifanywa shopping. Mse nataka kuenda. Mimi ndio nibaki huko. So as a creative unakuangana ile akili like you want to explore.
You want to experience.
Unataka kuona more. I felt like shule za nyumbani naenda narudi.
Which boarding school was this?
I started with a school called Rangwe Junior. Rangwe Junior Academy is in Homa Bay. Actually, Krizo said it's Homa Bay.
Homabarians.
In Rangwe constituency.
Shout out.
A very nice school, by the way, back in the day. Ilikuwa passing.
Now?
Pass.
Say, but no, you're speaking. You're giving us the past. I'm like, bro, ilikuwa inapita.
Honestly speaking, saizi sijui naendeleaje. That's why I'm saying that way. But it used to be a good school. Squeezy is key sana, but it used to be a good school.
Okay.
So like basically, journey yangu ya music kaanzia hapo took from church and I think people loved my sound. Nilikuwa naimba hivi unapata mtu si uniimbie ile ngoma uliimba kwa church. So
tuimbie moja tusikie.
They used to be like
snip beat.
Unakumbuka zile songs za kitambo zile za church.
Hiyo kidogo tu.
On the spot.
Yeah.
How about I sing for you my first song that I ever wrote, like the first verse.
Yeah.
So this one I wrote it for a lady.
Hey, what was her name?
jina yake ilikuwa nani? I can just remember the face. Like kuna hizo love stories like
wallahi huwezi sema ukumbuki jina wote.
But inaka weird kuiongelea.
Yeah, this ni wewe. What was the name?
Okay, you don't want her to know.
Let me just the name started with an M.
Give us the name.
Maureen.
No, definitely not a Maureen. Definitely.
Let me think. Miriam.
No. Think of
we'll guess until you get
a shady personality.
Mercy.
No.
Maria.
Michelle.
Michelle.
So the funny thing, this lady was also alikuwa na guy mwingine, like, so it used to be like, oh. But anyway, he wrote this song for her.
Bro, no. Wait. Trudy. Maureen. Michelle, sorry. Michelle alikuwa na another guy.
Yeah.
But still ukamwimbia wimbo.
Yeah. That's how crazy I was.
What did she do to you?
Love.
I was just attracted to her in a different way. Like that real connection that you have with a woman.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like
Ebu describe your first moment when you met Michelle.
That
where was it? Was it in church? Where did you first meet her?
It is I feel like it's that story, like unaonanga, like, and you try and recreate it but you can't. So this lady nilikuwa natoka chuo, unakumbuka hizo time back in the days in boarding, nikiwa high school. So natoka chuo hapo hivyo pale kwa stage.
Yeah.
I see this beautiful lady and I'm like, light skin kwanza na mimi ni mjaka. That lady was fine, man. So me nayo, I just had to go and say hi because definitely it was something fine and I wanted to shoot my shot. See at you fisi or anything, I just liked her. So yeah, we started talking, man. Over time I came to realize that kumbe alikuwa na mtu.
All this while,
yeah,
alikuwa na kugaslight. Was she
we used to talk, we used to actually
was she receptive?
Tulikuwa tunaandikiana letters back in the days, letters.
Yet she still had a guy.
Sikujua hiyo maneno, but anyways after that I came to realize that okay, kumbe this is how love works. You can love somebody, but the energy.
Character development.
Michelle, this song is dedicated to you. The stage is yours.
When I look into your eyes, baby, you make me see the stars. Wanna make you be my wife, even if it means I die. Na nitazidi kukupenda, nitazidi kukuwaza, every day, every night of my life.
Yeah, Michelle.
Ilikuwa dedication serious.
Alikumbia hiyo wimbo na bado ulikuwa na guy. You are very strong, Michelle.
But you know, even when you are singing, I could sense a lot of emotions coming from you. Nika bado hujaachana na msichana. You haven't moved on.
So like really the emotions, it's more of like what I would have given back then to be with that woman. Fast forward to today, character development kwa maisha. I was like, why would I ever do that again?
Welcome. Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club. Kind of thing. You understand now the psychology of how relationships work. And that's why you don't have too much demands when you finally find somebody that you feel like you're happy with.
Okay.
I feel like nilikuwa na over expectations maybe.
Kiaje sasa?
I expected too much maybe. Yeah, kwa in that vibe alikuwa friendship type of thing.
But was she upfront? Alikwambia mi staki.
No.
Alikuwa na kulead on.
She was always.
Maybe she was curious also.
How?
Yeah,
curious, and yet you have another person.
No, you have another person, yes. But this other person is now coming with a different angle that you've not experienced before. Like now he's coming with the, music and what. So she was curious maybe.
Somehow inaweza kuwa true because most of the times I used to sing for her. I used to be that si uniimbie pia leo. Have you wrote a song? So that's what motivated even the first song that you
see wrote. Where singing led you.
Unfortunately, it never goes that smooth for everyone. So yeah, I just look at myself and I say,
even with that voice,
I learned something.
What me, if I were you, I would have loved to find out what the other guy did or had.
Apparently, the other guy was just tall. Kwa sura nayo tusiseme hata. Tuseme tu kweli.
Awe sasa unaye tujua we haven't met the other guy so we can't know.
Actually, I did my assessment. Nili realize maybe. Nikajiuliza okay. Nimefanya kila kitu. How comes?
Aingi box.
Bado, I'm not finding this thing the right way. So
Kumbe inches.
yeah. No,
The
not
height.
that way. Not the
height.
There's a
It's
height. Hiyo
just-
ingine
I was
nayo,
talking about the height.
hiyo ingine kidogo.
bro unajuaje wengine? How do you
I know
know?
myself.
No, but you can only compare yourself with something you've seen.
Oh, you're talking about the other
how
side.
how do you know that you
But again, it's just complicated.
Just make it simple. They say the shorter the monkey.
The longer the tail. Okay. Yeah, I think that.
I can't know. I can't know.
Some of you are just not interested in knowing such details.
How will it help? But
You
anyway,
can tell.
well, I
Yeah, some
Ladies actually can
people move around here like a tripod. You will know. But that's by the way.
That's new.
we really digressed. But anyway, after you sang for Michelle, did you go ahead to continue with your journey in music? Ama uliachia wapi?
Music was my first love from kitambo. I got into music because Michelle or anything. It was just a way of me showing her I really like you, and I'm even willing to put it on a song for you to know how I feel. But apparently, not all love stories end up the same. No. Yeah, so
look at Romeo and Juliet.
What happened?
Walikufa. Mapenzi iliwaua, so
the love was too much.
Yeah, it was too much.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, mi nasemanga tu, you'll always find somebody. So I feel like with my music journey, it became you'll always find somebody eventually. Hey, mapenzi kwangi tu ati hiyo ni mtu mmoja tu peke yake you love for the rest of your life. Let's be honest.
That's you love a number of
you just have to choose who
you
feel
there are
comfortable.
phases of love.
Yeah. So to me, music was just a way of showing love, and it has always been a way of showing love to me, because ukiangalia most of my music hata zenye ziko YouTube, they're love songs. Kuna za heartbreak, I sing about what I feel, not like what people need to hear, because again I feel like music should be from inside. If I kukua ile like azina mtu ameniambia niimbe hii, ama I should be singing this because right now people want this. It's more of like the feeling that I have inside. If I feel like I want to do something to deal with parties, then why not? It's a creation process at the end of the day. So music imekuwa tu jani yangu tu mpaka saizi. I still do music, but I haven't actively released any song for 4 years now.
Why is that?
Poor management.
Poor management?
Poor
What do you mean by
management. In the form that the structures, the system, it somehow inatushikilia chini kama artist. You try to break it out there, but if you don't have enough resources, then kidogo you won't have the...
Are you talking about like airplay for you to be able to get your song out there, to get it
I feel
on
like
rotation?
Exactly.
The like.
Most of these radio stations,
Yes.
to say, but they'd rather play the big artists.
Let me ask you. Have you ever approached any radio station and they refuse to like play your music or something?
I've always felt like they'd say no.
So you see, now that's a you problem.
No, I'm not saying like... Okay.
Yeah, it is, because now the fear of getting a no from these guys led you not to walk to them and just try it.
But you know, sometimes you look at the stigma that has been placed around that. What am I talking about when I say that? Most artists, they'll approach these radio presenters. Uta find ngoma yake ilikuwa tamu, walipeleka but haikuchezwa.
But
then you have that suspicion that, okay,
you tried yourself, you see. That's what the challenge is. Because just because it didn't work for them, it doesn't mean it won't work for you.
So I think maybe that's right. But again, you also look at it in this angle. I'm a creative.
Yeah.
As much as I need people to also listen to my song, but always wanting approval, inapeleka ile nini yako
confidence
chini, because you feel like I have to like always remind this person to play my song on radio, or maybe some of them you love to pay them. You see, they're not willing to support you for like your music. Hii mziki ni mzuri, let me play it. They'd be like, there are some strings attached. Ingoma yako itachezwa leo, kesho itachezwa. So,
but what I really wish you were speaking from your own experience. I wish you were speaking from the aspect of me. I went, give them the. Nowadays, do you give drive or what do you do? Do you Bluetooth your song? Do you what do you guys do?
You can put it in a flash.
Yeah.
and it can also be sent via social media nowadays. Technology at least
It has
tika
advanced.
kitambo ulikuwa unapeleka
CD and because
I get what you're saying. For somebody who's in that sphere,
space,
it happens a lot. It does happen a lot. Like the people who come with their songs, I can tell you for free, your song, ikupita at the entrance, like receptionist, it didn't pass her desk. That one I can tell you for sure. It does happen, and it happens. It's been happening for a very long time. There's a certain monopoly that is played when it comes to vitu kama hizo. But as also a creative in Kisumu and somebody who's in that sphere, I believe it's also part of our responsibility to change that so that other creatives who come up don't have to go through what you're saying, like
true.
You've not even tried doing it because you've already had so much
the negative
information that other people tried wakufaulu and stuff. Right now, at least we have technology, like you said. TikTok is there.
There's YouTube.
Rusha
Can
huko.
always upload.
And that's why like most of the times I would do things differently. For example, Mimi as a creative, because a lot of doors were shut for me personally. Like when I was building up as a creative, kulikuwa na watu wengi who are not willing to give me that opportunity. Or if they were gonna give you that opportunity, ilikuwa inakuja na attachments mingi sana.
It always comes at a cost.
As a creative unapata, you don't need that, you just need to grow. Because already ukianza mziki yako and you have already umeanza kukua censored sana, you don't get to explore. Because mtu anataka uimbe according to what they want. They feel like the audience should be listening to, but they don't consider the aspect like you are a creative. You need to be in a space where you create something that also like nisemeaje inalingana na wewe. Not just for the fans to hear it, but for also your own satisfaction as a creative.
That really makes a lot of sense. Now back to you, Hawi. I just need to understand, being someone that is in the radio space or radio industry, I have music that I want to be played on radio. So what's the structure like? Who am I supposed to approach, or who am I supposed to give this music that I have? Okay,
so to put it simply, most radio stations have somebody called the programs controller, the PC. So that's the person that normally manages all music, traffic, all those types of things. Now the challenge comes because radio is, yes, it's air, but we're selling that air. You understand? Especially if it's commercial radio.
You're selling the airtime.
We're selling that airtime. You understand? So it's a situation where you find at any given point in time, you have to make sure whatever you're putting out there is, if it's on the lower side, it's an 8. If you get me. Between 1 and 10, it's an 8. Because it is not going to make logical sense for you to put anything below that, because now you'd be considering that we would have put something else in that airspace. Unaona, tungeweka kitu ingine more engaging kwa hiyo airspace. So that's where the challenge comes when we're looking at music arrangement and vitu kama hizo. But as a presenter, we noticed that there are a lot of upcoming artists, not even just upcoming artists, there are a lot of people who have been in the music space for a while. They're really good at what they do. They've just not been given that chance or that opportunity to showcase and even get like a feeling from the audience. So for us as presenters, let me even speak for myself personally. Personally, there are a lot of artists here in Kisumu that if it wasn't because nilieka kichwa ngumu, their song wouldn't have played. Would not have played.
I feel like
you'd be surprised.
The media.
Mention names.
Apesi, you would not have had Apesi, you would not have had Gabiro, you would have not had even Costa Ojuang.
Oh, Costa.
Yeah, you can believe it or not, I am the first person that played Costa in Kisumu.
Can we have him on the seat?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Why not? You get. So, and those were because we structured our shows in a way where we were giving some room. We had segments, or I had a segment on my show that used to be called Celebrity Carpool. It used to bring the old and the new artists together. So by the time someone like Gabiro was coming on board, I had someone like Nonini, then now I had Gabiro, then I had Ken Razy, then I had Apesi to give that balance of the OGs and the new kids on the block. You get. But if I hadn't taken that upon myself and things were just running the way they'd been running, they wouldn't have played. Those songs wouldn't be on the air. So it can be tricky. But I feel as creatives, if you really believe in what you're doing and you're willing to take that risk and willing to try, it's always worth a try, because I took the risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
working. Do you really get your accolades for what you did for the people like Apesi and Costa?
I don't think I even want the accolades, if that makes sense. Reason being, I've been a creative also in Kisumu for it's almost 12 years.
Yeah.
On and off, coming in and out. And it's not even about the accolades. It's just about seeing the art growing. You understand?
It's all for the love of the art.
It's for the love. Seeing people grow, seeing the art growing, seeing people going out there. And the fact that as creatives, we're constantly being sold this idea, especially from this region, that for you to make it, lazima uende Nairobi. Why? I don't like traffic.
I really hate that
It
narrative.
is cold. Mara sijui, you have meetings, sijui wapi, you have to take how many buses and what, and then people also are snobbish. Why?
You have to wake up early.
Ukangane na jam, sijui fike place flani mtu akuongelesha as if you've never been on this planet. It's why? Yet, most of the people who are in Nairobi making waves sahi, kama kina Kelomax, Costa, who and who, they're from this region.
They're from this region.
They're from this region. You understand?
One of the popular songs that I think was trending back in 2024, partly right now, came from this region. You remember My Jabe? Those are songs that were created in Kisumu. I followed up the guy, Breezy Unchild. That's somebody from Nyalenda. So why is it that we are taking creatives from Kisumu to Nairobi, yet we can be able to capitalize the talent?
It doesn't really.
We don't have proper structures. In that, hata tuna association in a guide the artist. Let's just be truthful.
True.
Do we have awards that recognize them, that are working? We don't. We are not even motivating our own creatives. So how are you going to tell me as a radio station, you're going to help me if you can't even create a platform that I can be able to maybe get some niseme aje, like a way up? Because at the end of the day, all these artists, what do they need?
Yeah,
they
you need someone to hold your hand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you look at the systems in Nairobi, as much as ziko niseme haje,
the systems in Nairobi are there, they're set, but they don't necessarily cater for creatives that come from this side.
Exactly.
If that makes sense.
Exactly.
It's like getting somebody from Nairobi, akuje sahi, ongea about nightlife in Kisumu. Yes, they'll be able to give you a basic, I went here and here.
An overview,
an overview, but they'll never give you those details. They'll never tell you the corner that Bob sits in alleyways. True. Never, ever. Because hata wajui, you understand?
Yeah.
So the systems are there, but they've not yet understood how to
navigate it
for this region. You understand? So whatever you're saying, I think it's something that as creatives, we've been having conversations about it, but in to circles.
Exactly.
And I think with this platform, that is where we can now start doing what we need to do.
True.
As creatives from this region.
Personally, I feel like it starts with whatever we are doing right now.
Yeah,
creating awareness, because there's a lot of creatives out there. Kuna musicians, kuna actors, kuna nini. But they feel like there is no safe haven for them to give themselves a tryout. Unajua hata kwa shule unaekwanga unaanza na nursery, then unaingia nini. Sisi in Kisumu, the only thing we have right now, funny enough, ni TikTok. So you find most creatives wanakimbia TikTok, but are you really getting the audience you want? Ama unapata tu watu wakulike your content, but the next time you put out something, the engagement ain't that nini. So we need a platform for real creatives. Not just creatives, but real creatives, the musicians, the models, the nini. And that's what I've been trying to do with Kisumu Culture.
Yeah.
As much as ni kidogo, but I just said, let's start from somewhere.
Yeah, because I also believe once there's a structure and a proper structure, all these other things will trickle down.
Exactly the point. But we need to start from somewhere, because tukiendelea kusema creatives wanatoka Kisumu wanaenda Nairobi, it will continue.
Yeah,
but
if
Kisumu, if we are not doing anything about it,
you can't.
They'll still keep going to Nairobi.
Do you think that creatives in Kisumu, we've had unhealthy competition, if that makes sense. There's healthy competition where it's like, oh, I have a song, he has a song. Let's see, we go somewhere. To cheze, and then people will be like, hii ilikuwa kali, and we're like, by the way, you did really good. You get. There's healthy competition. Then kuna zile za ni event ya nani? Siendi. You understand?
Unaenda kukufanya nini?
You get. I feel like creatives in Kisumu, we've had that unhealthy competition for a good while. But now that generation yenye before millennials wanaitwa
Gen Z.
Before
that's
is it
hao wazee
baby boomers or baby
hao mababy boomer hao tu wazee wa kitambo
ni Gen X ama
wamekuwa gatekeeper nini?
Yes, they really were gatekeeping so much.
True.
But now that sisi ndio tuko
we are changing things.
We must change that.
And I feel like the social media aspect is really helping us, because now you find creatives like Ty. With my small community, I can be able to impact a little change. As much as sitakuwa able to sign every model, but at least all in our work now, I know we are heading somewhere. And they find the same way we anafanya na radio. Anapeana opportunity, as much as see that big or open to everyone, but it's putting out some nini.
At least you're still getting exposure.
Unaona watu kama Costa sasa amewapatia opportunity, people like Apesi. As much as they can't keep on shouting about it at you, unajua nilipewa opportunity na nani, but you did something good. And that's where we need to start as creatives.
But I also believe, many people wanaingia kwa hii creative space with the mindset, anything I do lazima nipate pay.
Exactly. That's the problem. That's the biggest problem.
And it doesn't work that way.
Right.
It doesn't work.
You
must
I
start
feel
from
like
somewhere.
Fans are trying to be creatives now. That's the thing that's happening. Mtu anaona anafanya, si hata mimi naweza fanya.
Even me can try.
Ni photographer, si hata mimi naweza kuwa photographer, ni kamera tu nitafute.
Tell umepiga photos alafu unaona ukutoa lens.
Manze,
it only needs a microphone.
Like they are not giving it that seriousness like ilikuwa kitambo. Like kitambo we used to see these people on air and we used to respect them because we are like, hey manze, opportunity kai. So nowadays I feel like we are not really taking it that serious. That's why even the people who are doing it, they feel like they're not getting the right audience. So mtu maybe ako kwa into music ama ako into podcasting, but maybe the outlets are not doing enough to support this person.
But to me it's not really even about the outlets. It's about you as a creative. Just start. Fanya zingine pro bono, just do it.
But going back to whatever alisema about the creatives not supporting each other in Kisumu. Unaangalia in this angle, you are trying as an artist ama as a podcast nini, but unapigwa mawe sana na watu wengine because
mawe lazima, hii ni Kisumu, mawe lazima upigwe.
Sasa that's the problem. We're not supporting each other. Atusapotiani tunapigana mawe. So we're using a lot of time kupigana mawe instead ya kusapotiana. If we had just one person from Kisumu always making headlines pale na na support watu wengine. Let's say we had Oga Obina. Ile Oga Obina show. Like that person in Kisumu always bringing up fresh acts within Kisumu. Situngekuwa mbali and giving that person that support. But in Kisumu the moment you start doing that, mbona unaenda kwa hiyo show hata like they don't start like as in haina following, and you see a lot of people they'd be like kama haina following siendi, mimi nataka place yenye already iko na following. That's why unapata even with me and Kisumu Culture, I usually find it so hard to register new members because sijui huyu amekuja for what reason. Amekuja just to look at nini inaendelea hapa,
and then aende
ama is it somebody who is genuinely there for the opportunity. So that's where we need to start from. Passionate people, not just people who are doing it.
Again, for me I believe kitu tena Kisumu tuko tu na kiburi
sana
that's the honest truth. We just have tuko tu na kiburi ingine tu, yani
kuna watu wamejiweka level fulani in short.
They're breathing nitrogen.
Kuna exactly kuna wale gatekeepers alafu wametumake tukabelieve apart from clubs there is nothing good about Kisumu.
True.
That's
clubs and fish.
Just an
ukiona mtu akikuja ku content create Kisumu atakuonyesha lake
Dunga
na samaki.
We even know the spots they are going to be on.
Of course. True.
Look at the events that are being made. Sorry to say, but I feel like if we are being creative enough, we should be doing things differently.
That's
Watu wenye wana headline hizo vitu ni watu wa Nairobi. If you are trying to support people who are from Kisumu,
yeah.
Where are they?
And this doesn't mean like we have a thing against watu wa Nairobi.
No, we
but
don't have anything.
What we are really advocating for ni hapa Kisumu pia kuna talent. To be honest with you. Kuna talent mbaya sana.
Na si ushago.
Tuache tu kwa na ile mentality ya like 207 man. We are tuko 2025. Some people are still holding back. It's time for us to move on. Saizi kama for example mimi with whatever I do, my content ina relate sana na madem. But utapata mtu anakuambia, hiyo inakwanga tu ya wasichana tu wanafanyanga vitu za. You're not looking at the brand. Have you taken time to look at the brand?
Which is Kisumu culture now.
Exactly. Have you looked at what are they doing apart from kitu yenye unasema ati madem tu, but what's the long term? Do they have a long term agenda?
Is there a vision?
Exactly.
Like for example, you now as the founder, you had a vision.
Exactly.
Kuna kitu yenye likupush kuanzisha Kisumu culture. What was it?
To me it was just creating opportunity. It was always creating
you know there is creating opportunity, but how watu wenye unawacreatea pia hizi opportunities, are they ready for them? Do they want them? There's also that aspect.
Now that's the challenging aspect, because vile nimekuambia tu, some people will come to join because they maybe see the numbers you have, or some people they just want to be known. But unapata kusieve that from the people who really
some people just want to get famous.
Mtu anataka tu mimi nataka tu nionekane hapo, but ukiangalia talent kweli hana. That's the honest truth. Na kuambia msea una talent might be hard, but you need to.
No, you need to. At times you just need to tell someone.
Sasa watu kama hao ndio wataona like as in
ule mtu hata nilienda kwake na
akona maringo, but
no problem. Let them look at you like a bad person. Juzi, like I think of like a week ago, someone randomly showed up uko kwa studio.
Yeah.
Kuingia, he's like, he wanted to find out, like, he wants to become a presenter, what and what. So of course, me, I'm always open. Nitakusikiza.
Utaguide.
When he made this statement, akasema, I know I have a voice for radio. Hapo ndio nikasema
kiburi.
X. Reason being, immediately you come with that mentality and that notion.
It means you're not ready to learn.
You can't be taught. Yeah. And I think Kisumu creatives, some of them, those ones that you're talking about, they just want the fame and the numbers. They don't understand that it's not just about having a good voice.
Exactly.
It's not just about, I can play guitar. It's not just about,
there's more to it.
Uliniona nikidance sijui place flani. There's a lot more to it. Your work ethic.
Very important.
Is very important.
Very.
How you manage your money is very important. Your reputation. You can't build a brand or tell people you're a content creator or whatever you're doing, and then on Sunday tunakupata huko nje sijui wapi ukitapika. You get
it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
These are things that when you try to let some creatives or certain people in this region know, they feel like you're jealous. You understand? They feel like huyu sasa anasema tu hivyo juu A, B, C and D. No, it's simply because you're not going to go far if you're moving like this. If you're drinking every weekend,
you can't.
You're just wasted most of the time. You don't have discipline in certain areas. You're not going to go anywhere. Which no matter how talented.
Which now begs the question, yeah? Do we have the proper agencies to manage these talents in Kisumu, or tumeachwa tu nyinyi sasa kama creatives kaeni tu hapo? Are there agencies? For example, is there an agency that has approached you? Or
honestly speaking, I don't feel like there is any agency that is really doing that much. Everybody's just looking out for themselves, like as in it's either wanapata something.
It's every man for himself.
Yeah, ukiangalia alafu the gatekeepers mostly are these club owners, sorry to say, but it's the truth, because they've made it more of like unapata hata ma celebrities, quote unquote celebrities within Kisumu.
Yeah.
Wanajipata huko. And the picture that is being shown of them out there is not what we expect from a creative. Because as much as you need to live your life and be all that, remember, umejiita hapa, a creative, you are inspiring people. Yeah. So, if you are inspiring people, then you also need to mind what you say and what you do. I feel like we need to censor that. Watu wa separate private life from public life. Ukiniona pale nje napiga shughuli, that's me doing my work. maybe nini. But now personal life yenye unapata mtu now amelemewa kwa klabu and everybody's trying to get these pictures to share.
Ndio trend.
That's not a creative. You're burning like a big part of it.
Coming to think of it, actually,
and that's why unapata these hakuna agencies, just gatekeepers.
What you've said, did you Kisumu, mtu utakuwa na following, the next thing unaona, yani host kwa club fulani.
Si ndio maana nasema like they always end up there. That's the truth.
They always end up there. The club.
No, una find they've made it so hard for creatives to make money. Unapata I'm charging my services for like 10k for marketing, let's say, si ndio? Kuna mtu mwingine ataicharge 2000.
Bro.
Yeah.
The market is flooded.
The market, not that it's flooded. The market, because there are no agencies managing certain
and
things.
there's no structure.
Yeah. There's no structure.
Yeah.
The
so
market rates are
they
just
take advantage
wild.
of that.
So mtu atakwambia ati you're a photographer. Okay, how much are you going to take for this job? You will say utapiga budget yako utasema 10 Gs. Yet someone else somewhere na kamera yake mahali atasema naweza fanya hiyo kazi na 3k ama 2k. So umse wa 10k inakaa sasa like he's asking for too much.
Yeah.
Whereas he's looking at his skills. He's looking at his skill.
Ule anakuanga
expensive lakini hata they try now make you look bad because they feel like maybe you are demanding for something you really deserve but they are not willing to give it to you.
Yet they'll go and get a quack photographer from Nairobi and even pay that person 30 Gs. A quack.
Then you wonder what's the problem. It's because we have no
and
proper
even pay
system.
their ticket to Kisumu.
Pay their ticket, pay for their accommodation. Me by the way, since we're on this topic, wacha nifungue roho. Not once, not twice, not thrice. I have seen whether the artists, whether the MCs, whether the photographers, whoever in the creative space. I have literally seen people being plucked from Nairobi, flown to Kisumu. Everything of theirs is catered for. For them to come and do a job that I have been doing.
For years.
Or come to do a job that I am doing, I have already been doing, to a lesser standard, but get paid way more.
It hurts.
At some point I was on a show where my co-host was earning 4 times what I earn.
And it was from Nairobi?
From Nairobi.
Oh my goodness.
I'm telling you.
4 times what I earn.
Inauma.
But
tuoni tukizoea. Mi sioni tukizoea. That's what hakuna kuzoea. I feel tumefika ile point.
Inaanza na sisi.
We need to make the change. Because if we still wait kuna siku itawahi kuwa better. These people are not going to make it better.
No one is coming to help us. It's
Nobody.
we that will help ourselves. That's why
tujiangalie as creatives, start with the ile number yenye tuko nayo.
And then we also have to call out bullshit, please.
We have
to call out bullshit.
It's time. Kwanza mimi
kuna vitu zenye watu wana entertain
azifai kukuwa entertain.
Like, no, unajua no, it was good. It wasn't good. Tuseme tu it wasn't good. Go back, rehearse. Yes, go back, rehearse, try again. We have to get to that point here. It's no longer personal. You understand? Let it be professional. To have easy arguments as creatives, let it be from a professional point of view. Let it be from a point of, okay, this is the type of money we're targeting, and for you to get this type of money, you have to at least give this level, this standard. At least to do, okay, this is our hapa ndio iko. Tusishuke below ni kuenda juu kutoka hapa.
And I feel like it's also time for us to embrace our own creativity and our own celebrities. Kisumu, we have celebrities. Let's just be honest about that.
Where are they?
They are there. Trust me, I feel like the system. Back to the system.
Kisumu, we have uceleb.
Okay, uceleb. Achana sana uceleb. Achana na uceleb. Uceleb kunayo. But we have people who need to be celebrated.
Okay. If you put it like that.
People are not actually celebrating them.
Like
Look at
Hawi,
how. That's what I wanted to say. Like, you know, all this time I've been sitting here and I'm like, we need to really recognize what she has done, for the industry. There is something she has done. But people like how we are not given their flowers. Unapata mtu anatolewa Nairobi. Anakuja kulipa hapa pesa zingine za kiwazimu. Na amekuja for one day mse. One day aja create any impact. Ajapatia anybody opportunity. Ameletwa akaekwa.
Na imagine hiyo pesa analipwa inaenda alafu
inarudi Nairobi. Hiyo pesa inafaa inatusaidia hapa Kisumu.
Inafaa kwa ina circulate huko. But because some few people
gatekeepers
think that Nairobi ndo vitu zinafanywa vizuri.
Man, we'll never develop our industry hivyo. If you're not willing to pay mtu kama Hawi the enough amount, then we have expectations. Kama Jaf, mbona afanyi hivi, amekuwa kwa, have you been paying enough? Ama bado ile pesa ulikuwa unalipa 4 years 5 years ago, man.
Hakuna appraisal.
Man, let's be
wacha ni cheke venye nimekaa hapa and there's somebody who have my 3 months somewhere.
it's if you are not gonna change it through us, basi hakuna, no change will ever be made. Nobody will come and speak for you.
Kweli.
Just have to speak for ourselves because this is the opportunity we have.
But do you think our creatives wetu are they willing? Are they willing to be in a structure yenye itawa support ama au hiyo tu kukua? You know, funny enough, aspect yenye hawa wa Nairobi wanatumia ni to divide and conquer. Because now they are dividing these creatives in a way that kitu ikifanyika wanajua there is no common voice yenye ita voice out hiyo bullshit yenye inafanyika.
And that's one of the biggest problems we have.
Which now I'm asking, unafikiria hawa watu, are they ready? Are they willing to be under one structure?
I believe if the structure is genuine and the structure is functioning and each person or each party is seeing the benefits of being there. I'm not just talking of financial benefits. Generally the benefits of being there. You see this is a healthy environment, any place yenye wase wana kubuild up. Even if you make a mistake, this is where people advise you and say, okay, usiimbe na hiyo key tena, sawa, kuna venye likunyonga kwa hiyo section, badilisha key kidogo.
Correcting each other.
You get, if that kind of culture is fostered, I don't think creatives will have an issue with it. The challenge is starting to create that culture is always the biggest issue. Because
finding the team.
Yes, people wonder, okay, why is it Ty? Mbona Ty anafanya?
Mbona
mtu mwingine? You understand? People have those weird notions that they have, but what I've come to learn is vitu zingine, you just have to, if you truly believe ni hii, fanya tu. Don't even wait for anybody to
just
give you flowers. Don't even wait for which companies will come and look for you. You get. Bora una put out something that is legit and you truly believe this thing is legit.
Yeah.
And you have people around you who are there, who are supporting you and encouraging you on the days when you're like, hata leo sitaki kufika kwa podcast. Mkambe,
wacha mchezo, bro.
You get. It will definitely grow. It's been, 12 years? I can't say creatively Kisumu is the same place it was 12 years ago. 12 years ago, nilikuwa mahali nikidance kwa a very dusty stage.
I know.
Nikipewa soda na biscuits.
I know kwa joint fulani ilikuwa barabara ndo ilikuwa inafungwa na barrels.
It starts from someone. Unaona hizo sacrifices zenye Hawi amemake. It's the same sacrifices people make outside, but they don't get that recognition because the Nairobians, sorry to say, they kind of dominate our market for no good reason. The gatekeepers. Why do I say for no good reason? The gatekeepers feel like they need to, their money.
Gatekeepers umetaja sana.
Nimeongelea sana because inauma.
Who are these people? Tuambie. Call them out if you can. Call them out. Siogope. Because
let me just say,
inaonekana you know a lot that we don't know.
Let me just say, it's time we have a structure. Na sisi ndio tuanze kuitengeneza. Let's not wait for the outsiders. Tusingoje zile ma events zenye zinakuja ati tunatengenezewa. Let's start from our own. Sisi wenyewe tukiheadline hizo ma events. As much as inaweza kuwa small or nini, but watch ikuwe our faces. Not sisemi Nairobians ni mbaya. Nastaki watu wa Nairobi because even the people who watch Kisumu Culture the most ni
Nairobians,
that's like 64%.
Ask yourself why.
Because they
Ask
want
yourself why.
Hao ndo wanakuja baadaye wanaiba hiyo talent yako.
Let me tell you for free right now. In Kenya, pali iko na vibe ni Kisumu.
True. Very true.
Watu wamechoka na Nairobi. They've done their roots, Lavington, Masjuni nini, West South Sea, etc. They've done those laps. And then uko Nairobi, unapata each region or each section of Nairobi has its to vibe. You get. Like if you're this other side, Westie, Nini, there's a certain way, you're supposed to live. But in Kisumu, you can be living in Milimani but we can find you eating very nice chapati dondo,
Manze,
enjoying your best life. Hapo Nyalenda.
Budget
You understand?
True.
fiti tu. So as a creative inakupa hiyo space ya
Yeah, Kisumu is the place to be. That's why right now so many businesses, organizations, they're moving
to Kisumu, yeah.
And that's why I feel we should now work together, not work against
each other.
Because the more like unaona vile akina Calligraph walisema Kenyan music play how many percent? 75. It's about time.
Was it Calligraph ama ilikuwa Eric Omondi?
Like it's about time Kisumu pia tuseme.
Known by in Kenya, according to systems, we're supposed to play 80% local,
but
you'll find they're not applying, and it's also for some stations it's been hard to apply your 80%. It's been hard to apply it. Reason being, I think even with production we've really grown, especially in Kisumu and in Kenya generally. Kitambo, you'll find somebody will come with the song. Like me, I experienced that a lot. If I open my DMs, utapata watu wamenitumia ma links nini, but when you go to hear the song, the quality of the recording is so bad. Even if I want to be like, let me help my blazer.
But do you end up do you always end up advising them?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
I do. Kuna wengine hata kuna moja alini threaten, but nikamwambia.
Somebody threatened you over.
Yeah. Because he was like, can you play my song? Nini. Come back, okay, send me your links. I'll check them out. We'll check them out with my producer, and then we'll let you know what going. Yeah. Sends the song. The first 3 seconds of the song, already you can just know he says each other. I can't play it. So I'm explaining to him, your production is a bit low. Work on the production quality, then you can see how to. But I understood anyway, because as a creative, I think PA alifika hiyo stage of frustration, and then that day it happened that I was
producer so he was vile mimi nilikuwa frustrated.
Akasema ati even ndo mnafanyanga ni sawa tu, tutapatana. Kama sawa tutapatana.
By the way,
tutapatana wapi? Sijui.
So how do you deal with that, like the people who feel like you have not served them to their satisfaction?
You can't serve everybody.
You can never please. By the way, you can never please everyone.
Tusidanganya, let's not lie to ourselves here. The table is not for everybody.
Yeah. True. That's true.
Si kila mtu atakaa kwa meza, si kila mtu atakula kwa hiyo meza. You understand?
Wengine wanangoja huko zenye zinamwagika kando.
True.
Haiwezi serve kila.
And that's one of the reasons why una find kwa industry kuna a lot of beef, especially in Kisumu. Na I feel like ni utoto, because there is nobody who is like willing to like really put up with the nini, like making the system work. Everybody's like, wacha tu nimejaribu imekataa, but ule mwenye ako willing to like ijaribu ikatae, this is still gonna be there. People have given up.
But still hata kwa hii industry waketiki yetu bado it's still in question.
The trenches.
Me, what I even when I was trying to get the jingle for the podcast now, I even paid someone. Nitengenezee tu your jingle, sawa?
And you know,
bro decided Mr. kutengenezea jingle na hiyo pesa yako pia ndakula na simu yako sitashika. Wallahi.
Kisumu, we really need to like tuache, I feel like it's utoto. Tuache utoto ya kuclassify creatives kama
ni tamaa.
Why do I call it utoto? Because look at this in a very simple way. This somebody was paid you. They expect you to like at least offer them something that will make them want to work with you again. But where maybe umeona hiyo pesa ni kidogo, ama maybe you have felt like to them, maybe they felt like the pesa is kidogo to them. But you have not considered the fact that like ikitu nikitengeneza fiti, somebody who is also close to this guy might want something like that.
Naweza kurefer.
Exactly. So people are not looking at and go nini like as in long term goals. Mtu anaangalia tu short term. Inaweza pata pesa ya haraka aje. But are you looking at this thing in the next 10 years for me as a brand, for me as a creative, for me as a podcaster? We need to change our mindset.
Most of us can't see beyond our nose.
Exactly. That's why tunapewa pesa kidogo 3K.
Juu anajua hata huyu hata nikimpatia hii pesa.
Mtu anaenda
chances are ndamlipa na hatafanya hii kazi.
Honestly speaking, look at Kisumu. When was the last time we released like a film that sets the pace out there?
Well, I was part of a very amazing movie last year.
Oh, okay.
called Funeral Madness.
I think I heard about it.
It was shot very well. We did a premiere at Mega
Plaza.
Cinemas,
Yeah.
Mega City.
Mega City, sorry, yeah.
That's the second film I've done in Kisumu. There's another one I did in 2019 that was called Strings. When I look at the quality of the production, it's so good. But when I look at the support
So little.
of the production, it was so little. So I think as much as, yes, we may say we don't have this, we don't have that, we haven't done this, there are those people who have been genuinely trying, but I think they've not really also gotten that airtime or that visibility or even that recognition. Because there's a general mentality that is there in Kisumu that people, like, I don't know why, people feel Kisumu ni ushago ingine fulani, like as if people are backwards, whereas we're not. When you're actually living in Kisumu, working in Kisumu, moving in Kisumu, you get to realize there are a lot of intellectual people, there are a lot of very creative people, there are a lot of people who are putting out work that is of very high quality. Very high quality, but it's not really appreciated because we still have this mindset of, the same things people were doing in Kisumu. It's not like they changed it. The same songs Costa was singing in Kisumu, Okelo Max was singing in Kisumu. The same songs are the same songs that right now tunazisikiza. You understand?
Only that they're trending from
Nairobi. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think as much as even the creative space, we have a lot to do. I also challenge businesses, entities, investors to also push creatives. If you see somebody in a space and they're doing an excellent job, give them their flowers. I think myself personally, even on my social medias, I'm going to take it upon myself. Nikiona kitu mzuri nasema. I will say it. I'll say this guy sang well. This was good. This was bad. Tuseme, on my show, I've at least maybe over the years tried to give that opinion of certain things, but it can only go so far as one person. So I urge all of us.
It needs us to just come together.
It needs a community.
And I feel like hapo sasa kwa community, hapo ndio pali we have the biggest problem, because as we addressed, first of all, money is one of the issues. Mtu anaingia kwa art anafikiria pesa kwanza.
Pesa iko,
like aja offer something. Mtu kama Hawi amekuwa kwa industry for 12 years. Man, it has taken time for this person to learn and to understand through that. That's somebody you can't just write off. That is somebody who needs to guide you. Hata akiwa kwa team akisema kitu kama hii, you listen to them because they've been wamekuwa kwa hii kitu, wameielewa. But in Kisumu we are like cash. But even the cash we are requesting for ni pesa kidogo, 3K mse. 4K mse.
You call it the
Indomie
effect.
The Indomie effect.
Kuna watu wanataka tu chemushe tu maji ufanye tu Indomie imeiva alafu kule.
Alafu that's why unapata then the wrong people end up calling themselves creatives and they put out work production out there simply because maybe they have the equipments and all that, but they're not facing the real issues. Atuongelei having the right system that will provide for everybody. Wacha tu podcaster mmoja, but like the next person wants to become a great podcaster, ataangalia nani? If the mwenye tuko nayo already saizi is not being given their flowers, then how are you going to convince this person you are from Kisumu, you're gonna get that? They'd rather go to Nairobi because they feel like Nairobi, as much as iko saturated, but at least kuna watu
kuna loopholes, kuna mahali tu utapata safe land,
utapata niche.
But in Kisumu mtu atakwambia like msee utakufia Kisumu. True, mtu ataenda hapo anakuambia msee you are a creative na Kisumu ujaenda Nairobi, wewe utakufia Kisumu.
Me I'd rather wacha nikufie huku, but at least nilijaribu. Exactly. I tried or I did something. But
sasa watu wenye were willing to say that less, they end up being manipulated with the 3Ks, 4Ks.
Let's do this. Give somebody their flowers that you know in Kisumu.
Yes. Someone who's doing a good job, in your creative in your creative culture community.
Yeah. Someone you feel
they deserve accolades. Ni mtu anapiga kazi, anapiga mboka.
Honestly, bado.
Hauna mtu?
Mbona unasema bado?
Hauna tu.
The reason why nasema bado is like all these people I'm looking at, they have had the platforms. Unaweza sema ni kidogo, it might be little change, but it can go a long way. So I feel like so many people have been so relaxed. For me to say like,
is it relaxed or they're in their comfort zone?
Comfort zone, relaxed, I feel like bado wako tu hapo.
Hawajipush.
Okay.
But
if I can challenge,
but now you as their head unafanya nini kuwatoa kwa hiyo comfort zone?
Sa particularly me ukiangalia na Kisumu Culture, I've been trying to help out from the small to small, let me say small places I can, like kama modeling, ukiingia kwa hizi vitu za photography. I give opportunities to people who are coming up. Like I don't just work with watu nyasha make it, because I believe like these people are growing, they are willing to give you their time. Wale watu nyasha make utaenda kuambia useme utatoa hapo 40k man. Na even with that 40k hata kupatia the best, they'd still feel like you came to me. You see, so mtu mwenye is working from a place yenye ameanzia, they'd really give time and they'd really understand that the nini yenye inahitajika. For example, mtu, okay, look at this in this way. Kuna mtu amekuwa kwa industry for 20 years. Ni wa Kisumu, yes. Ame create brand nini, but have they created a community that supports other people? That's the question. Look at the clubs. Have they ever come up with a show that ina nini tu watu wa Kisumu tu peke yake?
Hakuna.
It's always the Nairobians coming to perform.
Is there a club that embraces? I don't.
Hakuna. That's why I'm saying, if I'm looking at...
They embrace you after you've already gone.
Exactly. Watakunini tu kama umekuwa mkubwa.
Majuu.
Eri hata
and you've been
niseme...
recognized is when now they embrace you.
I'd rather tell Hawi, man, you're doing a good job, because she's definitely doing a good job. But for me to give somebody else flowers, and I feel like they're not doing enough, maybe they... But you can always do something. You can always do something. Hata kani kidogo. You can start from...
I have someone, not even someone, people. But one of the people I will mention who I really want to give their flowers is Gabiro.
Yeah, by the
Gabiro has been doing a lot, especially when you look at content creation. He's a musician, yes, but if you notice on TikTok, he has a lot of trending sounds. Yeah. There's a way he has figured out how to hack being in Kisumu, still dealing with corporates, still executing. Now I'll force you to get on TikTok. This man is not on TikTok, by the way.
You can never find me on TikTok.
Scared too.
Why not?
By the end of this podcast.
I don't want my brain to fry.
By the end of season 1, we atakuwa TikTok, usijali.
But TikTok squeeze at least improve, si kama ile ya kitambo. There's some good changes you can do.
Hakuna tap share the likes.
Hizo kidogo tulianza kuseparate. Plus I feel like kama unaingia into TikTok, you just have to identify your community.
Yeah.
Mimi personally, I had to find my community. That's the Kisumu Culture people. This is a creative community where they understand there is a structure to which we work. As much as bado ni kidogo, but kuna structure. Unaona? That's what we need. You just need to voice out. Use every opportunity you get.
Unajua mkianza kuongea TikTok, brain yangu tu
inaenda into
tu TikTok. I'm like,
so what's your favorite platform?
Instagram sana juu uko ndo at least uko naweza buy vitu. I just use Instagram for shopping and that's it.
Plus I feel like Instagram inakuanga for brands.
Yes.
TikTok unajua everybody's there, so you never know who you are attracting. You come you never know who is really genuinely liking your content or just stalking.
Yeah, you're speaking of Gabiro.
Yeah, Gabiro has been doing some amazing things. And on the side of like, supporting other creatives and stuff, he's also done a really good job of doing that. He recently, I don't know if he's already done it, but his album launch.
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah, he did his album launch.
In
Kisumu?
Yeah.
Yes.
When was this?
Yeah.
Ilikuwa like 3 or 4 days ago.
Oh, okay. I think it's someone I should check out.
Yeah,
you should.
Definitely.
Also has a wonderful work ethic.
Plus, he has been there in the industry.
He's been there. He's been there.
Me follow up, by the way. See, I don't follow up. I follow up. But sasa mimi shida yangu ni, we need to extend a hand. Hata kama ni kidogo, but we need to. That's why I keep insisting. System. We need to work on a system.
Yeah.
Watu kama Gabiro, Hawi wakishikana, we come together. Things will work. things will work.
That's our goal actually.
Things will
Nataka
work.
tu vitu creatives wa Kisumu wache kulialia njaa
hata kama ni kulia njaa wacha tulie hiyo njaa pamoja tukifigure out
as a team, yeah.
wenye tunataka kutafuta dhamani you get let it
But
not be
mmoja analia
wewe unakufa na njaa kando yako and then me this other side I'm trying to live my best life na sitaki hata wewe uingie kwa hiyo nini.
It's not good.
Hiyo kitu nachukia bana. I mean like there's a lot tunaweza pata vitu mob sana if we go as a team,
but watu wanataka kwenda moja most of the times it's because we feel like the other person will go faster than me, but you forget if this person is really genuine and passionate they'd rise with you.
Yeah,
you know there's a quote I like, it says the sky has enough room for all the stars to shine.
Exactly.
You understand? What makes the sky beautiful are when many stars are shining. Si ati ni moja tu ina shine to by itself. You understand? So we have to get out of this mindset of thinking because Ty Sai move to another level, you know, he's doing really well, what and what. Somehow that automatically affects venye mi nasonga. No? Umemove kwa saa yako. Mi pia na move na saa yangu.
Kila mtu ako kwa timeline yake.
Yes, you can shine and I can shine na shine zetu zita to affect. In fact, it will just make us brighter as a group. But ile yenye una feel well ukishine sasa ina dim yangu I have to now dim yours is wild. Is absolutely wild.
Alafu tutoe pia hiyo nini like as much as we have the celebrities tutoe too much celebrity in that mtu amepata following kiasi so they have this.
Tuko na celebrities kweli.
We do. Why do I call them celebrities? Why do I call them celebrities? Because they have an audience. Hawi has an audience. You have an audience. As much as ni kidogo, mi nasemanga, as much as ni kidogo, it is still an audience.
Yeah.
There's a word, it's just skipping me, but they should be.
Influencer. Amani.
Are they really influencing?
But do you know, celebrities are those people like we celebrate them for what they're doing, and that's why I don't call everybody a celebrity.
Mention for me one person, apart from Gabiro.
Hawi yako hapa.
Wachana Hawi tuko na yeye hapa. Mtu mwingine.
In Kisumu? I can pretty much say there is Yasmin. I don't know if you know her.
How come I don't know all these people?
You're not on TikTok, my blazer. Unaona venye Instagram inakupeleka.
Wameenda tu into a different nini. Kuna MC Still, nimeona akifanya kitu with the events and all that I've been following up. Kuna nani tena from Kisumu is
Ombuti Matara.
Ombuti is doing something, by the way. Thank you for mentioning that.
Mimi ningekuwa nimefail kwa hii class. Sasa
why do I call these people celebrities? Because they have a following. And every celebrity with a following, you need to use.
What are they doing with that following?
No, that's the question.
So they are not celebrities.
They are. That's the sad thing. At the end of the day, they are. People follow them.
There's a term. By the time tunamaliza hii episode, nitakuwa
to me, I insist they're celebrities. Why? Because they need to level up. It's about time they started leveling up. Tuache kujifikiria tu kama mi najifikiria tu peke yangu. If you have that mentality, we'll never have people looking up to us. They'd be huyu ni mtu wangu anakuwa kawaida hapa tunamwonanga tu kila siku. We need to put some respect to it.
On your note here, celebrities, I think also Kisumu, you have this thing of where we feel when you've reached a certain level or a certain following or a certain pedestal, we give you a lot of expectations, forgetting we have not first given you support.
Yeah,
exactly.
True.
Me and Ombuti, we had an experience similar to that. He's a good friend of mine. So it was a situation where there was an event going on. Yeah. We had been given some complimentary tickets.
Okay.
But I wasn't sure whether the tickets are regular. Like, we didn't get into those details of, it must be, this or that. As just creatives, we were like, it's cool. We'll show up. So when we arrived, we had to wait for the tickets to come. So we were there at the gate, people wondering, mbona mko hapa regular? Mbona mko hapa regular? You understand? Which, yes, kuna ile like, okay, I'm not supposed to be in regular, maybe, but if regular ndo niko nayo, pia ni sawa. You understand? I'm not going to force issues. Niende nijikaze na kuingia
VIP. Alafu tena security wa kuinua.
Yes, ndio watu waone, okay, nimeingia VIP. You get? So we were just chilled. Tulikuwa tumechill hapo. And then when the owner of the event came, he was like, no, guys, come through. We were given tags. We didn't even realize hizi tags zilikuwa za VIP.
Oh my God.
Sisi bado tumesimama regular. Ni kuangalia tags za regular, like watu wenye tuko with them, their tag is a different color, na yetu is a different color, ndio tunaangalia, VIP, kumbe ni hii color. You get, ndio tukaingia. So you find that Kisumu people put a lot of expectations on you. When you start to feel or seem like unaingia hiyo league ya celebrity ama uceleb.
Yeah.
And then they expect these things minus giving you the support. If first we had been given that support, we wouldn't even be stressed like, oh, tuko wapi, tuko regular, ama tuko where and where. We would know, okay, ni VIP, ni hivi na hivi. So yeah, I think kuna uceleb in Kisumu.
Yeah.
Then the people who genuinely
deserve
are supposed to be just in that realm. Other people avoid it. Me, I'll be very frank. Me, I avoid your story of celeb. I don't call myself a celebrity. I don't even imagine that kuna venye nimejulikana, nothing like that. Reason being, I never want to get into that state where I now feel like, oh, because I am outside, now I should censor myself, you understand? Because, oh, now that they've seen me on the podcast and they know my name and they've heard my voice, inafaa nijifiche ka niko Kibuye. No, utanipata Kibuye
the
vizuri.
funny thing, me what I'm trying to say is celebrity bado ni celebrity. An artist is an artist. Ukwe Nairobi, ukwe US, ukwe wapi. What I'm trying to say is like let them
be.
Yeah, let them be. Like, let them grow. Don't criticize them ati. Sasa wewe pia ni celebrity. Once you put it that way, people will always start the real celebrity to
utapatia watu kiburi.
Si hata kujipea kiburi.
Kuna watu genuinely celebrity.
Kuna watu who genuinely deserve to be called celebrities because
ukikuwa na kiburi,
unaona?
Kiburi is legit.
You need personal nini yao.
Ukikuwa na kiburi, let it just be legit. Ni
you
sawa
should be able to back it up.
Yes, but let it be legit. See, you are an empty container making a lot of noise.
Empty debe.
Because look at somebody like, okay, Apesi, look at Gabiro. These are people who have made moves. So they've deserved it. Like as in ata, kama ame decide kuishi life yake in a simple way, why should you be judging? Like this person at least is doing something. So you should not just consider them as a regular and not give them their flowers. Yendi akiamua get into their head. Sasa, that's a whole different thing. But don't just, mbona tuite Otile Brown celebrity? Na tusiite Apesi celebrity.
Nani amemuita? Mimi sijamuita.
But they are.
Sijamuita. Mimi sijui mtu amemuita.
But they are. The funny thing is like if you go and Google celebrity.
Yeah.
Saizi watu googlie celebrity inamaanisha nini? You'd find the nini? Google.
Fact checker.
Yeah.
Celebrity.
Because that's you are not supposed to be afraid of being who you are and belittle yourself just because other people's opinion will now. No. Don't just
Yeah, for Oscar, like who is a celebrity to you? Because nimeona amekataa out the
anakataa so ya celeb kabisa.
You know, there's a difference between being famous and being a celebrity.
Okay.
Celebrity means people celebrate what you're doing. Yeah.
exactly.
Watu wenye wote umenimentionia wote, me I just think they're famous. To me, that's my perspective. I just think they're famous. To all those people you've mentioned, I believe they could be doing a lot for Kisumu.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. Uko, yes, fine, you are from Kisumu, umeenda Nairobi, but what have you done to market where you're from?
But going back to the point yenye ulikuwa nasema, expectations. Ujue pia
expectations aje? Umefanya nini?
Let me read you what Google says about celebrity.
Yeah.
A celebrity is a famous person, especially in the internet or sport, just like that.
Exactly.
A famous person?
Especially in entertainment or sport. An example in a statement, he became a sporting celebrity.
Exactly.
Or he's a musical celebrity.
You are celebrated in that field. Like let's say you are a podcaster.
Yeah.
There are people who celebrate you for being a podcaster. They consider you a celebrity. They're willing to celebrate you.
Yeah, but
you can't expect.
But for me to be celebrated, there must be something I have done.
Ndio maana tunasema for people like let's say Apesi, kuna mtu mwenye atamcelebrate because ana feel like this person has made moves that
apart from kuimba amefanya.
Apart from kuimba, one of the things I would say is anywhere Apesi goes, anywhere, even when he was in Europe, he has that tagline yenye nasema
Obunga to the world.
Obunga to the world.
Okay.
You get, even when there was some
But
events,
is he walking the talk? Obunga to the world?
Yeah, he is. That one I can say he is, because there's a time they even had like a talent show. They did it in Obunga. That was sponsored to at least see the new, upcoming artists and other creatives and things like that.
Me, I'm a person for results.
Yeah.
I'm a person for results. Fine, alifanya hiyo kitu ikafanyika. What was the
results of it?
Yeah.
So it's more of like the achievements.
We'll have him on. Atuambie mwenyewe.
But I hope umepata the meaning of the celebrity.
Bado mimi siita watu celebrities hapa.
Wewe chana na Oscar. Huyu msee ako TikTok.
Hao ni watu wako tu famous. Wacha kunitia watu wako famous as celebrities. Azi. Yeah.
Can you give us an example of a celebrity? Someone
To
you consider celebrity to you?
Let me think. In Kenya?
Na isikwe politician tafadhali.
Haezi kuwa politician. In Kenya?
This one that you have to think this hard.
Sports, entertainment, music.
Bro, misioni.
Not even Sauti Sol.
Sauti Sol walijaribu. They tried, at least wali upbring kuna watu wako na hiyo soul generation, yeah?
Celebrity outside of Kenya sasa. So we were trying to get an idea of what celebrity looks like.
Somebody you feel like you can celebrate as an artist, ama just in the industry.
Nick Cannon.
That's a good choice.
Because actually if you see what he did with Wild and Out, tuliona alileta watu kama DC Young Fly, all of Carlos Miller and all those other people.
He brought new people to the game.
Yes. Introduced new faces. Even Kevin Hart was there. Who knew? You see, at least he provided that space. Watu wakakuja, and now they're big names. You see.
But I think that's happening because even if you look at people like Kodong Clan right now, that's exactly the model they're using.
They're working on some
generation.
For Kodong Clan, I think mi naweza sema see there were once in Soul Generation. Mi naweza fikiria tu, for me, I just think I think ni rebels wenye walitoka Sauti Sol wakaform. Yes, mi hiyo ndo perspective yangu.
But still those are moves. And we can celebrate those moves.
I feel like you need the change to happen more fast or something.
Not that I need the change to, at least show us what you've done. Because I asked her what M-PESA has done. It took her like how long to think of what he did.
Maybe because
we need to do better.
There are no results.
Maybe because I don't have the information. You understand? I wouldn't say.
But really, if there were results, tungeona tu. Zingetokea.
I'm guessing what you're saying.
It could have not been something that we could tuna scratch out of sand.
I think what you're trying to drive home is that let me now put to quote celebrities we have in Kisumu. They need to put in more effort.
Not in Kisumu, in Kenya.
But now we are speaking about this region in the fact that we are talking about our industry now. Sindio? What affects us directly.
Yeah.
So for like people like
you must start from home.
Exactly. Like people like M-PESA, I think what they need to do is now maybe put a hand, wanasemanga what hand? Whatever. Like do more. And the time they're doing more, we also need to support them.
True,
because we can't expect them to do more, yet we are not really atusaidie at any point. Like remember, doing more, say financially, nini, they also need that.
Of course.
To help them.
Of course, yes.
But if we keep saying ati, do more, but we are not helping.
But at least at every moment, kuwa na mtu anakushado. I always believe in leaving a legacy. Today you're there, tomorrow you won't be there. True. But this person mwenye alikuwa anakushado, at least akona hizo ideologies zako, akona hizo lessons zenye anaweza learn from you. And how you got there.
That's why it goes back to the system. We need a system. we
need a structure.
And I feel like we need it as soon as like even yesterday. It should have already been here. We've been wasting time. We've been talking about it.
How you've been in the field for 12 years? What have you been doing?
It's time. Manze tukingoja Nairobians watupange mse tutaumia.
It's just that I don't want to get the cat out of the bag this soon.
But there is something.
Yeah, kuna beans flani nimeka kwa jiko flani zinaiva. Zikiiva utaziona, utazijua vizuri.
Very nice.
Kama gani tufuatie tu the tip.
Nasema this is the show where we
kichwa tu
tunapeana kama ni yote.
Kichwa tu, just as you said.
Yeah.
we need some form of an agency, some form of structures and outlets for those things to happen.
Yeah.
So those beans fall in line with that.
Very nice, very nice.
So maybe as we conclude, what are the challenges you've faced hapo culture, Kisumu culture?
Hey, challenges iko mingi. Being a creative is not easy. It needs
Mike.
Oh. So being a creative, manze si rahisi, because it needs you to put in a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
You need to understand like the industry in a different way. For example, mimi, I'm running a community. So it's not like mimi tu kujifikiria. I'm thinking of like 10 other people. So it's more of like we need to support each other. Isikuwe ile like we are always constantly shaming each other. So I feel like those are one of the things that we need to change on, and they have been dragging me back as a creative, because unajaribu ku create a certain opportunity and bring a certain good influence into the industry, but watu wanaiongelea in a negative way. Kama for example with me and Kisumu Culture, what I've been trying to do with the ladies, wase watakuwa like, wewe tu ni madem tu, but they don't understand what's the brand about. Why have you chosen to work with certain people? And you can't, as much as you'd love to work with everybody, at the end of the day, you can't also work with everybody. You have to sensitize, like, who are you working with? That's a question. So before you come for that opportunity, like as in, do you really deserve it? Jiulize hiyo swali. So my biggest challenge imekuwa tu like finding the right team to work with, finding the right structures in Kisumu. One of the biggest. Alafu when it comes to finances, man, we need to see creatives in a different light. 3K, 4K, Haitalipa bills. Haiwezi lipa bills. As much as you'd need us to like as in be humble or something, but again, remember, I'm putting in work hapo. I've been in the industry for a particular time, so I'm coming with experience. What do you mean by
a particular time?
Let's just say I've been there in the industry.
For how long?
Since 2012.
Yeah, that's 13 years, bro.
Yeah. And you can actually see it from my work. Like it's online, Nico there. It's not like I'm just saying it. It's been there. But for you to find the right community for you, it's never easy.
Yeah, that's always the challenging part.
You always keep finding people who like they want to support you. Some at some point they'd feel like, I've supported you enough. Now you need to, you see? And they don't understand like this thing takes time. Si kitu yenye ina happen over 1 year imeshakuwa kubwa. A brand unaibuild it over time. You figure out what needs to be added, what needs to be corrected. It's like bringing up a child. You have to grow it.
So after your 13 years in the industry, give us at least one success story.
I think Kisumu Culture.
Kisumu Culture.
It opened up a lot of doors. Kitambo, I used to do content, but ilikuwa on a small. But with Kisumu Culture, it opened up a lot of opportunities. I'm getting to learn a lot about creatives, manze. When somebody DMs me and they'd be like, I'm a creative, I'm from Kisumu, I love this. And they tell you their story and you listen to them and you're like, I'm in a position where I can really help. And being able to help, to me personally, si lazima ikwe do. Just being seeing that person.
Hiyo yote bado umeshindwa kumention hata mtu mmoja mwenye tunaweza patia nini?
No, but I've mentioned like
from Yasmin. Kisumu Culture.
Yeah,
Yasmin is part of
you did?
Culture.
Yeah, like when we started working with Yasmin, like literally alikuwa host wa VIP too. But right now looking at where she has
a journey,
that lady is flying. So that's to me, that's one of the success stories I look at within my community, and I'm like, and not just Yasmin, kuna wengine pia wanakuja as much as hizi wa mention saizi, because we are still working on that, but yeah, there is something.
So what does it take to be a member of Kisumu Culture?
I feel like you just need to be a creative person. Be interested, be passionate. It's not just that nataka tu kuwa part of you guys. What do you bring to the table? We are usually afraid to ask, but genuinely, what are you bringing to the table? As a creative, as a musician, you must have something pia, as much as unataka kuwa supported, but hata kuwa na kakitu yenye
to me, I'd ask, what are you doing different?
Okay,
from the rest of the people.
Yeah.
It's not that ukue too creative. Yeah, you might be a creative, but what are you doing different apart from being a creative? Unaona? So hizo pia lazima zikue.
Yeah, of course unajua when you are now vetting there's a lot put into it yenye sizi sema ati na kuna ile yenye una
So how do you vet? When una vet peke yako ama you have a team or what?
For starters I used to vet me mwenyewe because after all I understand the community much better because I work with them like on a daily basis. So it's more of like to find the right person utajua tu. There's always that click pia. You know, you can't just start by I'm working with everybody. There is finances, there is what aspect.
Yeah.
I can't say that I'm structured well enough to be able to cater for them financially. What I must start with the people I have, make sure that they're stable enough to even now open up now to other people.
Yeah, open doors to other people.
It's a process too. Kuna wale wenye ukifindingi tu you just know like welcome to the community. This is the right place for you.
So Hawi, any last comments or questions to Ty?
Me generally, it's just been exciting to obviously to see you. We've worked on some things before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which for some reason they never made it.
They
never materialized.
The same thing you were saying about producer what.
We have been through a lot.
Kuna mwenye alitufanyia ile kitu. Umeshoot content vizuri.
Inaenda inapotea.
Ama story ni mingi.
Kiswahili inakuwa mingi.
The work is delivered.
Who is that?
We didn't want to.
No, mention names. Call them out. Ajue. Call them out.
Like, mtu kama anataka kufanya something right, they'll do something right.
No, just call them out. Because hii kitu ni kaina wauma.
Acha tutuseme tu.
Hapana, what are you afraid of? Unaogopa nini?
Naenda kumpatia grace period.
Anajijua.
Hapana. Tukiongea hivi.
Hii ndio kitu itafanya
tuta grow. No, you know why?
Mtu anafanya upuzi and then you
know why? Do you know why nataka kumpatia your grace period? I have a feeling after he's been able to watch this episode
yeah,
and understand some of the issues we've raised here, he may adjust.
Exactly.
But as if we adjust, the next episode
platform ndo hii sasa.
I will say name by name. Each by each.
Kwanza hizo maklabu.
Una bana.
We are gonna open up very soon.
Klabu ilikufanyia nini?
I just have wacha tutaongelea tu hiyo story tu vizuri. But man, clubs you need to really change a lot of things. The culture that we are portraying out there. Man, Kisumu is better than whatever we are showing.
Yeah, that was it. That is episode 6 of the Ideal Corner podcast.
Yo.
So until next time.
Yeah, definitely.
Your socials tutaweka hapa chini.
Yeah.
So at least if someone wants to reach out to you, wanaweza kupata. Parting shot.
Be resilient, like never give up. Like whatever you want, it's there. You just have to go for it because it's never easy.
Yes, that was Ty. Yeah.
Before you close, I have a question for both Hawi and Mr. Kisumu Culture.
Yeah.
For the past 12 years for Hawi and 13 years for Mr. Kisumu Culture.
Use your mic.
Like for the past years, when you started your journey as media personalities, do you ever at some point have you ever regretted maybe ningefanya kitu ingine unaona hii miaka yote ningekuwa nafanya daktari ama walimu ama something like that. Hiyo thought imekuja kwa akili yenu kweli?
Mimi personally as a creative, yes. As a creative, you judge yourself a lot because you always want to put out the best work that you've done out there. And at some point, you feel like it might not be enough, but you keep going. So, kuna hiyo point yenye imefika, mimi personally ilifika hadi nika feel like, they're paying me peanuts. Nobody's really appreciating what I'm doing. So, I almost gave up, manze, nikaenda kwa employment. But at employment, I realized like, I'm just into the system again. Nafanya tu.
Yeah.
There is nothing to explore about it.
It's the same thing over and over again.
Like literally, wametufinyilia huko because they know. They know. If they gave us better chances, if somebody was willing to pay me enough for whatever I'm doing, then I wouldn't have seeked for employment, unaona. So obviously kuna hiyo point yenye nafika, your rents are due, you have bills to pay, and you're asking yourself, hii content creation jo,
inalipa kweli
jamani, ama nianze tu kazi nyingine, because but anyways,
me at times I feel like those challenges are part of the journey.
Exactly.
Because one day utakaa mahali useme kuna siku zenye bana rent nilikuwa nasikia tu na
sasa hizo kuna video yako ina trend mahali iko na like 50,000 views, but kwa mfuko
those are part of the journey. So ni kungangana tu.
Yeah, we have to keep up.
Just keep on moving.
I think if I look at my history for like the last 12 years, even before then, there's some things you can't avoid because they're just part of you. Like, no matter how many times I've tried to avoid being a creative,
you always end up.
I will always still find myself in creative spaces because that's where I feel I breathe and I thrive the best and I move the best. Is it that it's been easy? 12 years being in a creative in both Kisumu, Nairobi, Uganda, Botswana,
exploring.
It's not that it's an easy journey, but when you know that is the journey you're supposed to be, that's the road you're supposed to be on, you're not going to worry about, there's a pothole. You'll just say, leo kuna pothole, sawa turuke, type of thing. But before you get to that stage, it can be very challenging. I can say I have put blood, sweat, and tears into this, and I'm still putting blood, sweat, and tears into this. I am still taking a lot of risks and a lot of gambles. And I think that's what gives you an edge as a creative. How much do you actually want to do whatever it is you're doing? Is it that you're doing it because you want your name to be known? You want people to say, Trust me, people can shout your name like that, but internally, you know what? Yeah, you know what's going on.
There's no fulfillment.
There's no fulfillment internally. You know all the issues you have. You know the sacrifices you've made. Bills are waiting for you. Bills will still wait for you regardless.
They'll always wait.
Azichangalia we ni celebrity ama nini.
Bills don't give a damn. You have a video that made 1 million views.
They don't give a damn.
They don't give a damn. You understand? So I would say for anybody who has been a creative and maybe gave up at some point, if truly you still feel that is where you're supposed to be, move with it. Move with it, regardless of all these other things. These things are minor. Okay, sawa, my landlord will kick me out of my house. Ni sawa, nitaishi chini ya miti. I'll create content hapo. Hiyo pia
ita build up the story.
Hiyo pia, yes, hiyo pia itakuwa something to add to the mix.
Yeah, true.
For me, I just believe that as people, the ones that are in this room, we are the change.
Exactly.
And the change starts with us.
Exactly.
So, tutembee tu hii journey pamoja and we'll go places.
Exactly.
That much I assure you. So,
It's okay.
okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.